Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most effective ways to empower your teams and get the most out of them, and that is the power of saying thank you. This is Productivity ACE. Let's get it done. It has been said that sorry seems to be the hardest word. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's actually thanks. At my organisation, we're encouraged to give regular constructive feedback that we can all action to make ourselves better at our jobs. And that's very valuable, but maybe we don't spend enough time just saying thank you. Considering how much work people do and how many times people do a great job, I've always wondered why it doesn't seem that people say thank you that often. In employee surveys, praise and recognition is always one of the top complaints. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, well, we crave praise and recognition more than we crave money. If you want to be an effective leader, praising and saying thank you is an absolute essential. When you recognise great work, people will be much more inclined to repeat it, to give themselves that feeling again. I've always wondered why people don't find it easy to give thanks or express gratitude. It seems to me people are much more inclined to criticise, but getting a thank you or a well done or some praise is much rarer. Even when you get constructive feedback, well, that word constructive, that's got an implied criticism to it, so it may be useful, but it doesn't necessarily give somebody the warm and fuzzy feeling that they might get when somebody gives them a job well done message, for example. And in a recent survey of over 8,000 managers, over 40% didn't actually ever say thank you to their teams or give praise of any kind. That's astonishing. What experiences have you got in the workplace of gratitude? Do you work with people that say thanks all the time, or do you feel completely underappreciated? Let me know in the comments. And another survey showed that high-performing teams, on average, get about 6 times more positive messaging than teams that don't perform very well. And it's not just in the workplace. It's long been known that successful marriages and relationships feature a positive-negative ratio of about 5-to-1. So that means for every negative or criticism, there's 5 positives. And relationship scientists have long since known that if that ratio is skewed in favour of negatives or isn't sufficiently positive, well, that is actually a key indicator of a divorce situation. So it seems to me that saying thank you is a very good thing. Let's dive into the subject a little bit more. If you're new to the channel, then we focus a lot on leadership, productivity, and helping you empower and develop not only your career, but the career of your teams. We have longer versions of these videos on different learning platforms. Check out the link in the description below. So what are the benefits of saying thank you? First of all, mutual happiness. If you say thank you, you feel good, they feel good. Everyone's a winner. What's not to like? Secondly, bridge building. Expressing gratitude can be a really good way to turn around relationships that haven't particularly been going well or aren't going as well as you want them to. For the people that I don't get on with particularly well or maybe have a tenser relationship with, I'm always looking for situations where I can engage and look for a pivot where I can say thank you for some contribution that they've made. I find that expressing gratitude really does help turn relationships around, and I've used it to turn relationships that haven't been particularly successful into very successful ones. So bridge building, enhancing relationships. If somebody gives you a thank you, shows some appreciation, well, it's almost like an olive branch being offered. And it's a really good pivot to turn around a relationship that's not so good. We've got greater resilience and positive mood. Expressing gratitude acts like compound interest. There's a gradual build-up of positivity and resilience in people's moods, and that gradually, over time, turns them into a more resilient, a more positive, a more capable person. And positivity has a net gain on mental health and physical health. That's scientifically proven. The more positive somebody is, the happier they get, the more resilience they build, the more their mental health improves, and the more their physical health improves. Okay, so we know the benefits. Great. If that's the case, why doesn't everybody say thanks all the time? In fact, it's not so easy. Many people find it quite difficult to express gratitude. Let's take a look at some of the reasons why. First one is the cringe factor. Many people find it really embarrassing to actually say thank you or to praise other people. They find it much easier to criticize. People can find it really uncomfortable to sit down and give somebody some praise, especially face to face. And bizarrely, the recipient can often feel uncomfortable as well. It's quite an emotionally charged situation, and some people are just very uncomfortable with that. I'm sure we've all been in situations where somebody has lavished praise on you in an over-the-top kind of way, and by the end of it, you're like, oh, please stop, please stop. It's an uncomfortable situation. So the recipient and the giver often find it quite embarrassing to give praise. I find that if you can get into the habit of giving praise often, then that takes the embarrassment, that takes the emotional factor out of it, and then you get more and more comfortable with actually seeing somebody has done something cool or valuable for you, made your life easier, and you automatically default into a giving thanks response. The more you can do it, the more comfortable you get with it. Another reason why people don't necessarily give as much thanks as perhaps they should is in modern workplaces, thanks tends only to be given if somebody has gone above and beyond and done something completely out of the ordinary. Like the person who doesn't tip their server at a restaurant because, hey, that person's just doing their job. They haven't done anything special to warrant the tip. And some people have a real problem with praise. I recall an example at a previous company where somebody told me to stop praising people, saying that, do you know what, well, we praise them every month when we pay their salary. Well, that's not necessarily the case. There are numerous people that I work with on a daily basis who regularly make my life easier. It doesn't have to be something completely out of the ordinary. It doesn't have to be incredible delivery. Some people can just make your life easier just by the way they are, the way they act, the way they work, their mood, the way they can brighten up a room, their personality. There's a whole load of different ways somebody can add value to you, and all of those are worth a thank you. I regularly praise people and encourage my team to give thanks to people that just make their life easier by doing their jobs and doing it well. In cases like this, it's always a good idea to be specific and praise a specific behaviour or specific aspect of somebody's work, rather than just generic thanks. That way it feels more genuine and it gives them something to work on if they know a particular aspect of their character or the way they work is positive and gives value to somebody. They can then develop that. But the reason why people don't often give thanks is we sometimes don't want people to get one up on us. In competitive workplaces where everybody's fighting for promotion and to get up that career ladder, I've seen it many times where people don't actually want to say thanks for a job well done because that might actually advance that person's career at your expense. Yes, crazy as it seems, that does happen. People are always looking out for themselves, it's human nature, and sometimes they don't want to give somebody else that leg up the ladder. I don't really think that's the right way in a collaborative firm like the ones that you and I work in, but it does happen. Well, people who think like that will soon see that actually there is a lot to be gained yourself from being somebody who gives thanks and gives praise. For more information on subjects like this, I'd really recommend reading a book called Give and Take by Adam Grant, who's an organisational psychologist at Wharton. Link down there in the description. It's a fantastic analysis of how being a giver can really benefit you. So let's look at ways to express gratitude. Okay, so we know that saying thank you is positive. We know that saying thank you gives you benefits as well. How can we make it easy for ourselves to get into the habit of saying thank you on a regular basis? Firstly, a weekly gratitude note. I like to end my week by sending a couple of emails, maybe 2 or 3 emails, 2 or 3 gratitude notes, short and snappy, to people that may have made my life easier that week or that I just generally appreciate. I find it's a really nice way to finish a Friday, spending 15 minutes to just say, hey, I really appreciate what you've done here. I find that giving the weekly gratitude note gives me a really nice feeling at the end of a week, and hopefully the recipients enjoy it as well. I know that sending them has actually opened a lot of doors in terms of relationships and work streams that have emerged from actually sending that gratitude note, so I think it's a very positive thing to do. Also, make it public. Instead of making those gratitude notes in the form of one-to-one emails, well, how about in a blog? In my team's bi-weekly blog post to our user community at work, we have a section where we say, these are the people that have made our lives easier over the last couple of weeks. These are the people that we appreciate. And that's very positive because those blogs are read widely. And that means that that person's contribution is more widely praised, it's more widely publicized, and that obviously is good for them. Keep a thanks diary. So if you're the recipient of a gratitude note or a thank you or a bit of praise, well, don't just file it away with all your other emails. Put it in a special folder and keep a log of the times that you are thanked, that you are appreciated. If you're feeling low, dip into that folder, have a quick read, and realize that there's some of the stuff you've done that's great and some of the people that you've helped. And you can also do mental exercises to train yourself to be somebody who is more capable of saying thanks, more capable of expressing gratitude, and somebody that thinks more about praising others. Have a look at the Japanese Naikan reflection exercises, linked below. That's an exercise that involves reflecting on 3 particular questions, and it helps to grow feelings of appreciation and thanks for others. It also allows people to work out how much they give versus how much they take in personal relationships. And there are many other mental exercises that you can do. So I'd really like to know your experiences with saying thank you. Do you feel that your organization has a thanking culture? Do you think that people will praise good contributions, or do they just take and expect everybody to be amazing all the time? Do you feel that you get thanks from your management, your team, or your colleagues? Well, let me know in the comments. And it doesn't matter what level you are in your career, if you're a new manager, an experienced manager, or somebody just getting started, well, have a look. We've got playlists on this channel that have loads of different videos that can help you develop in your career no matter what stage you're at. Check them out.